Crystal Borg, and I am proud to say that I teach preps this year at Holy Trinity Catholic Primary School. This is my first year out of university. I've been studying for such a long time, and I've finally gotten my most favourite job in the world, which is being a teacher. And I'm so lucky that I get to teach the preps this year for my first year out of uni, and so far it has been nothing but an absolute blast. Teacher, my first year has been nothing but everything that I have dreamt of. It has been such an interesting year thus far. Never in a million years did I think that I was going to be teaching remotely, but the way Holy Trinity Catholic Primary School has run this whole remote and flexible learning has been amazing, and we've learnt a lot from the first time round of remote learning, and we've reflected on the challenges that it imposed, and we've come up with new ways that we can overcome each of those challenges. So coming into term 3 with remote and flexible learning has been such a great insightful time for me, because I'm always evolving as a teacher, and I think it's really important that the students still have that deeper connection with me as their teacher. Obviously, I'd prefer it if I was able to teach my preps face-to-face, but because of the circumstances, we had to move remotely, and must I say, our team at Holy Trinity has done such a fantastic job at providing kids with the opportunity to still have that one-on-one with their teacher. So I'm still constantly on Google Meets with my kids twice a day, and I give them the opportunity to have small guided reading groups. And this is just such a fantastic way at keeping up to date with my little preps. And we have lots of fun on our Google Meets that are short, sharp, but very, very engaging. And yeah, the preps absolutely love it. But my first year has been nothing but the less amazing. And I wouldn't change my job for anything in the world. I'm very lucky to be a part of this community, and despite the unique circumstances, I definitely can say that this has been everything that I've hoped for. Support and inspiration comes from each and every single one of our staff members. It starts off with Christine Hocking, our principal. She is one of a kind. If it wasn't for Christine, I wouldn't be the educator that I am today. She has inspired me to be the best version of myself as a teacher. I love that every day Christine comes to school with the biggest smile on her face, and that really brushes off on myself and the staff and also the students. I am also lucky enough to be working alongside my mentor, Nikki. Nikki is the other prep teacher at Holy Trinity, and I am so lucky that I have the opportunity to work with someone like Nikki. Nikki constantly provides me with new ways of teaching. She always shares lots of her resources with me, and always checks in on me and makes sure that I'm okay, and that if I ever need to have a chat or need feedback with a particular area, she's always there for me to go to. I also get a lot of my inspiration from the students at Holy Trinity. They say that if you find a job that you absolutely love, you'll never have to work a day in your life. And I believe that this quote fits me extremely well. The students always inspire me to find new and innovative ways to spark that light bulb moment that they have in their learning. For anyone who is thinking about taking up teaching as a career, I definitely say do it. If you have a passion for teaching kids, if you have a passion for having an impact on a student's life, definitely go for it. This is the most rewarding job ever, and I'm so lucky that I get to see my preps learn something new every day. And despite the learning being either face-to-face or remote learning, I'm still getting that huge growth in their learning. It is fantastic to be able to see how much the students pick up on. You'd be very, very surprised. And I really love that I've given the opportunity to have that connection with my preps and to build those relationships. And I think if it isn't for those relationships, you won't have a fun and exciting experience at school. So one of the best things that I've been able to do is getting to know my students and what they like and what interests them, what they don't like, how they like to learn. And then going on from that, I also love being able to build close relationships with their parents as well. And I think one thing from remote and flexible learning has taught me is that those relationships are so important, and it's really beautiful to see how much a student learns, whether they're at school face-to-face with you or if they're at home learning from home. I'm constantly receiving beautiful messages from my preps, and every day that is the first thing that I look forward to listening to. And I think another thing that I absolutely love and adore is in the morning at 9 o'clock, we have our Google Meets with the preps, and I always have my microphone off and I have my camera off, and I'm just sitting back and I listen to their conversations, and the way they talk to one another is just so beautiful. And if it isn't for those relationships at the start of the term that we help support and build, the students wouldn't have what they have at the moment. So that is probably the best part about my day. And then when I flicker my camera and my microphone on, all the kids get so excited and they all say good morning, and that's when you know you've had an impact on those kids' life. Seeing their smile on their face is just the best thing ever. To instill in my students is definitely reflected on our learning dispositions, and one of the main things that I want to teach my kids is the power of yet. This is something that I've learnt from Christine, and it is okay if a student doesn't know how to do something now, as long as they get into the habit of talking with a positive growth mindset. So if they do get stuck on something, well, that's okay. It is important that they are able to reflect on that and say, well, I might not understand this yet, but I will give it my best go. And that's something that I constantly try and get my kids to learn, because it's really important that despite how challenging it might be, that we are problem solvers and we can come up with a solution. Even though it might happen over and over again, we have to constantly try our hardest and overcome that obstacle course, and we are going to overcome that obstacle course together. It is also important that my students are able to work collaboratively in a team. I am a huge believer on Lev Vygotsky's zone of proximal development. I think the more that the students do together, then the more they will learn. And it's really nice to see how sometimes students like to take lead and become the teacher. So that's when I can kind of sit back and watch them teach other peers in their class how to do certain things. So working collaboratively and the power of yet are two important qualities that I want to instill in my students' education. In years to come, I'd like to be the teacher that my students don't forget. I'd like for them to remember me as the teacher that never gave up on them and that always made sure that their well-being came first. So it'd be interesting to see what my students think of me in years to come and how they remember me by. But I definitely hope that they can see how much of an impact I want to have on their lives, and that I'm constantly putting them first and making sure that all my teaching comes from a good place, and I want to give them the opportunity to be engaged with their learning and come up with new and innovative ways that I can do so. Definitely would like to be the teacher that they don't forget. There are many reasons why I would recommend Holy Trinity as a primary school to every single person that I speak with. And it's not because I work here, but it's because the staff are always putting the students' needs first. And we always make sure that the students feel safe and included in everything that we do. One of the main things that I can say from a staff point of view is whenever I'm on yard duty, whether it's at the start of the day or the end of the day at that front gate, the kids are always entering or exiting with the biggest smile on their face. And I think that reflects Holy Trinity perfectly. The kids are happy, they feel safe, they're comfortable to come to school, they're ready to learn, they're ready to communicate with their teacher and their peers, and most of all, they're just ready to be a kid and have fun and learn new experiences. And I think that's why your child should attend Holy Trinity. The school is beautiful, and this is only the beginning. We are still in the early stages, so our school will continue to grow and we will continue to become closer and closer, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for Holy Trinity. I would like to take this opportunity to say that I am so lucky to work at Holy Trinity. This is my first year teaching, and I would not change anything in the world. This is where I want to be. This is what I want to do, and I'm very lucky to experience this with my preps for this year. And even though I have preps, I feel like I am getting to know each and every year level at the school, and I love being able to have a chat with, a couple of the grade 5, 6s and the 3, 4s and the 1s, 2s. We're all such a close bunch, and I would absolutely not change it in the world. I'm very lucky to be the teacher in the position that I am in today. Thank you.